Good morning. How are you today?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. Welcome. Thank you for coming out on this torrid tropical day.
Thank you.
All right, now you are Shani Bagley?
Shanae, yes.
I'm saying?
Shanae.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. What we're going to do this morning is hopefully have just a friendly interview. Each member of the council will ask you a question. There'll be 15 minutes assigned, to your interview. The questions are designed to kind of get a sense about you and where your council belongs. I want you to know that all the activity related to this process is being recorded and will be on Bowie Cable TV as we're transparent about everything, and that'll go out after all of the interviews are concluded. Your 15 minutes will begin with your first question. We suggest that since there will be at least there will be 5 questions for you, so I would suggest that you discipline your time and your responses as you see fit. And then at the conclusion, we'll give you a minute to tell us about yourself. And with that, I'll start with Mr. Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Ms. Bagley, for coming out this morning.
Thank you.
All right. It is my opinion that local government is the most important level of government. Explain why you disagree or agree with my statement.
Mr. Gardner, I think I would agree with that. I have a background with an advocacy group that worked at the state and local level. And one of the things that, was apparent is that grassroots work is critical, and getting buy-in and having agreement amongst the constituency. It is, after all, about the people, and we don't live, and we are a part of a country, but we actually live in our neighborhoods. We work in our cities, and we raise our families, and that is important to all of us. So we absolutely, I would agree that the local level is absolutely a critical piece of government that is often overlooked and forgotten. And we'll always, during election season, I'm always reminding people that your local elections matter even more than the national elections, and that we often forget that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wolfley?
Good morning, and thank you for taking the time to both apply and to come in and chat with us this morning. My question is thus: to date, how have you chosen to serve the city of Bowie? For example, have you served on city committees, run for office, been on the HOA, PTA, or the like? And part 2, how will that help you represent your constituents?
Well, I've lived in Bowie for 12 years now. I came with my husband, who wanted to move from the city to the suburbs. And in my time here, I have absolutely been a part of my daughter's PA. I'm currently the treasurer of the PA, and have not run for office, but absolutely have been involved in following the local politics. I was last here with you all when I spoke in favor of 2 sheets of ice for the ice rink. And as an aside, we're really looking forward to any groundbreaking that we can have on that facility. My background does, I believe, prepare me for being on the council and being a part of making knowledgeable, researched, fact-based decision-making and being a part of a team.
Thank you.
Mr. Stead?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So my question is specific to District 3. The Sears location at Bowie Town Center is closing. The owners of the property are planning a mixed-use development on the site. What are your thoughts on the matter?
Well, I know that there are a lot of opinions on social media about the Sears Bowie Town Center location. My priority would be that spot not sit vacant indefinitely and be an eyesore, bringing down property values and driving out other businesses. I think that I personally applaud the developers for being forward-thinking and looking for ways to make sure that property does not fall into disrepair. I think that, I don't know that apartments is necessarily the answer, but I would not immediately dismiss it, because again, I think that Bowie deserves to have livable and vibrant spaces, and certainly having that much square footage sit empty on our main thoroughfare and our primary mall is insufficient. Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Marcos?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mrs. Bagley, for being here today and your interest. My question is kind of a two-part question, and I would like to know, how do you feel about going forward with residential and commercial development in Bowie? And what do you think the relationship between the county and Bowie should be with regards to development?
Well, again, I know this is an issue that runs with really high opinions in Bowie, and I do think we need to have responsible development. We are a very fast-growing city and have lots of people interested in living in Bowie, and I think that's a fantastic aspect of the city. And I know there are a lot of people who want to maintain that small town feel. So we really do have to find a way to strike a balance there. That doesn't mean approving every application that comes in. I think we have to have measured responses to that development. At the same time, I understand that the county has some sway over that development, and if they are going to approve development to happen without input from the city council, that is certainly reason for us to be very much involved. I think it's critical that we have a strong relationship with the county so that they understand our perspective and that they are taking into account the city's wishes and the city's needs. I mean, our infrastructure, particularly transportation and roads, is being taxed. I think we can probably all agree with that. And the citizens are feeling the brunt of that. So, you know, I'd say we need to have a really strong relationship and be able to do what we can to sway and making the PG County Council understand what our needs are.
Okay, thank you very much.
Dr. Trout?
Thank you, Ms. Bagley. Thank you, Ms. Bagley, for applying. My question is, what do you think is the most important issue in Bowie, and how do you plan to make improvements?
I think that it's some of the things that we've already discussed. It is that economic development piece, and by extension, the transportation impacts that I think so many of us are feeling the pain of our roads becoming overcrowded, our back roads and neighborhood streets are, having that overflow traffic go onto it. And I think those are legitimate concerns, and those are, that's something that we are experiencing every single day, that daily impact of, traffic and whether it's us sitting in our cars or being concerned for our kids in our neighborhoods. Again, I would really work with the council in conjunction with you all to make sure that we are expanding and approving development that is within reason, that is taking into account what our citizens want for the county, and that is, still able to generate additional tax revenue because we've got businesses that are interested in coming in. So I do think that, again, that transportation and the concerns of the city about where Bowie is going from economic development are the pressing issues.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there a last thought that you would like to leave with us?
Sure. I just wanted to kind of go over my professional experience a little bit. As I mentioned, I had that substantial work at a nonprofit advocacy group, and I really am interested in really like the prospect of working on the opposite side of that equation, if you were. I have experience in the areas of technology, facilities, policy development, compliance, and operations, including budget management, budget development, and financial management. In addition to considering how, in Bowie's economic developments and recreation, I really just look forward to joining you on the council and working through that budget process and, looking at our trails master plans and all of the things that are coming up that needs to be focused on the rest of this year. I understand that you are considering a number of candidates, and I just want to say thank you for your commitment to the city and for welcoming me and all of the 26 other interested applicants. I know it cannot be easy to go through these interviews. So if selected, I will listen and respond to constituents, openly engage with you all, with the council, and really want to seek to fully understand the issues that come before us. Whether that is, budget decisions or ice rink, whatever those issues are, really wanting to understand what they are, doing the research, talking with people. Since I'm among the first to be interviewed, I know that you've got a big job ahead of you. And what I'd like for you to really remember most, I think, about me is that I would govern with you with knowledge and integrity.
Okay. Well, we thank you very much for your interest, and thank you for participating on this fun morning with us.
All right.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you.
So much.
Thank you very much. Stay warm.
Yeah, you too.